Welcome back to part 2 of the New Testament Bloody Secrets. Luke 22 is often used by Christianity in commemorating their event called the Holy Communion. Luke 22 verse 19, "And he took bread, and gave thanks, and brake it, and gave unto them, saying, This is my body, which is given for you. This do in remembrance of me. Likewise also the cup after supper, saying, This cup is the New Testament in my blood, which is shed for you. Jesus took bread, and gave unto them, and said, This is my body, which is given for you." Here in the book of Luke, Jesus gave his disciples bread in signifying his body, and the cup to signify his blood and the New Testament. Jesus declares to his disciples to do this in remembrance of him giving his body for their sins, as stated in Matthew 26 verse 28. The Torah, which is the laws, the first 5 books of the Old Testament, forbids the eating of flesh and blood, and a man being put to death for another man's sin. These things are abomination unto the God of Israel. See my video titled, "Is Jesus a Sin Offering?" This event, called the Lord's Supper in Luke 22, is now celebrated on a yearly basis. This event occurred the same day as the Passover feast stated in Luke 22, verse 8. The Passover feast day commemorates the children of Israel coming out of bondage of the Egyptian pharaohs. The Passover is to be kept throughout thy dwellings. Leviticus 23, verse 14. Many Christians no longer commemorate the Passover. Instead, they celebrate Lord's Supper, which has nothing to do in honoring the Most High. Instead, the focus is now on Jesus' symbolic eating of his flesh and drinking of his blood on a yearly basis, in which they call the Holy Communion. Such acts are of witchcraft and idolatry once you understand Torah. Many Christians would say, well, Jesus is God, then turns around and says, he's the Son of God. Seems pretty confusing. Jesus himself stated in John 14 verse 28 that he is not God, and to say he is the Son of God, one should ask, when, where, what prophet, and in what scriptures did God say that he would send Jesus as his Son to atone for the sins of the world? These are questions that are worth asking, as there is no scriptures in the Old Testament of Jesus Christ. See my next videos. In conclusion, the eating of flesh and drinking of Christ's blood is witchcraft and is classed as spiritual fornication. Wisdom of Solomon 14 verse 12 to 14. For the devising of idols was the beginning of spiritual fornication, and the invention of them, the corruption of life. There is no commandment to keep Holy Communion in Torah the laws, and by celebrating such would be idolatry and taking part in a ritualistic ceremony. This is the Romans using the New Testament to replace the Passover into celebrating their idol god Jesus, creating the narrative of Jesus, the Passover Lamb. You can ask many Christians today, what is the Passover, and they wouldn't even know. I will cover more on the Passover Lamb in future videos. Stay tuned for more unveiling. Thanks for watching.